There are moments when a single decision changes everything. When opening a door means opening your heart. When a stranger becomes family. For Michael Chen, a 34-year-old software engineer living in Seattle, that moment came on a cold November evening in 2023. For 3 weeks, he'd noticed the same scruffy puppy sitting outside his living room window. Just watching. Always watching his German Shepherd, Kaiser, through the glass. The puppy never begged, never barked. Just sat there in the rain, the cold, the wind, staring at Kaiser with eyes that said everything words couldn't. Michael tried to ignore him. He already had one dog. His apartment was small. He worked long hours. All the logical reasons why adopting a stray was a bad idea. But Kaiser noticed too. And unlike Michael, Kaiser didn't overthink it. The big German Shepherd would press his nose against the window, whine softly, look back at Michael with an expression that clearly said, "Dad, he needs us." On November 18th, 2023, Michael finally opened the door. What happened next was captured on his home security camera and became one of the most heartwarming viral videos of the year. But more than that, it became a story about what happens when we stop making excuses and start making room. If you believe in second chances, in the bonds that form when we choose compassion over convenience, and in the way animals understand love better than humans sometimes do, subscribe now. Because this true story will remind you that the best decisions are often the ones your heart makes before your head can argue. Michael first noticed the puppy on October 28, 2023. He was working from home, staring at code on his laptop, when Kaiser suddenly perked up. The German Shepherd's ears swiveled forward. He trotted to the living room window and sat, staring intently outside. "What is it, buddy?" Michael walked over. Outside, on the sidewalk just beyond the small front yard, sat a puppy, maybe 4 months old. Mixed breed. Matted brown and white fur. Too skinny. Muddy paws. The puppy wasn't looking at Michael. He was looking at Kaiser, their eyes locked through the glass. The puppy's tail gave one small, hopeful wag. "Shoo," Michael said, tapping the window. "Go on, go home." The puppy didn't move. Just kept staring at Kaiser. Michael felt a pang of guilt but pushed it away. Seattle had animal control shelters, organizations that handled strays. This wasn't his problem. He went back to work. An hour later, the puppy was still there. That became the pattern. Every morning when Michael opened the curtains, the puppy was there, sitting in the exact same spot. Rain or shine, watching Kaiser. At night before bed, Michael would check. Still there, just watching. "He's probably waiting for his owner," Michael told Kaiser, who whined softly at the window. "Someone's looking for him. He'll go home soon." But days passed. Then a week. The puppy got thinner, his fur more matted, but he never left that spot during daylight hours. Michael called animal control twice. They said they'd send someone. No one came. He posted on neighborhood Facebook groups. Found stray puppy on Maple Street. No one claimed him. On November 10th, the temperature dropped to 35 degrees. Rain turned to sleet. Michael looked out the window at midnight. The puppy was there, curled into the smallest ball possible, shivering under a bush. Kaiser pressed his nose against the cold glass, whined, scratched at the door. "We can't," Michael said. "I can barely afford one dog. Vet bills, food, time, and what if he's aggressive? What if he has diseases?" Kaiser looked at him, then back at the puppy, then back at Michael. The look said everything. "Those are excuses. Dad, you know what's right." Michael closed the curtains, but he couldn't close his heart. And every night after that, the puppy haunted his dreams. Those eyes watching, hoping, waiting. For someone to finally open the door, Kaiser stopped eating. Not completely. But his usual enthusiastic demolition of breakfast became half-hearted nibbling. He'd eat a few bites, then walk to the window. Stare out, whine. "Dude, what's wrong with you?" Michael checked his teeth, his gums, felt for fever. Nothing. Kaiser was physically fine, but emotionally, the big German Shepherd was clearly distressed. On November 14th, Michael caught Kaiser doing something that broke his heart. He came home from a coffee run to find Kaiser at the window with his food bowl in his mouth. The dog had dragged it across the room, was pressing it against the glass, trying to share his food with the puppy outside. "Kaiser, no. You can't." Michael's voice cracked. The puppy outside had stood up, nose pressed to the glass from the other side. His tail wagged weakly. The two dogs were separated by a quarter-inch of glass and an ocean of human excuses. That night, Kaiser refused to sleep in his usual spot on Michael's bed. Instead, he lay by the front door, guarding it, waiting. Michael couldn't take it anymore. He grabbed his phone, called his best friend Sarah. "I need advice. There's this stray puppy, the one you've been posting about for 3 weeks. Yeah, Michael. Just bring him in. You know you want to. I can't afford 2 dogs. You make 6 figures as a software engineer. Try again. My apartment is too small. You have a 2-bedroom. 1 is your office. Try again. What if Kaiser doesn't like him?" Sarah laughed. "Michael, from everything you've told me, Kaiser is literally begging you to bring that puppy inside. He's teaching you a lesson about compassion and you're failing the class." Michael was quiet. "What are you really afraid of?" Sarah asked gently. "I don't know. Commitment? Responsibility? What if I can't handle it? What if I fail him? Or what if you don't try, and that puppy dies outside your window while your dog watches? Which failure can you live with?" Michael hung up, looked at Kaiser lying by the door. The dog's dark eyes stared back at him, pleading. Michael walked to the window. The puppy was there, curled under the bush, shivering in the November cold. Their eyes met through the glass, and Michael finally understood what Kaiser had known all along. This wasn't about convenience. It wasn't about money or space or time. It was about being human or trying to be. November 18th, 2023. 6:47 p.m. Michael stood at the front door with his hand on the handle. His security camera was recording. Kaiser sat beside him, tail wagging, sensing something was about to happen. Outside, the puppy was in his usual spot, watching through the window. Michael took a breath, opened the door. The cold air rushed in. And for the first time in 3 weeks, there was no glass between them. The puppy's ears perked up. He stood slowly, uncertainly. His tail gave one cautious wag. Michael expected him to rush forward, to bound up excitedly. But the puppy didn't move, just stared, like he couldn't believe this was real. "Come here, buddy," Michael said softly. "It's okay. You can come in." The puppy took one step, stopped. His whole body trembled. From cold or fear or hope, Michael couldn't tell. Kaiser made the decision for everyone. The German Shepherd pushed past Michael, trotted down the steps, and walked right up to the puppy. Sniffed him gently. Licked his face. The puppy's tail wagged harder. He licked Kaiser back. Then Kaiser turned and walked toward the house. Looking back, "Come on. Follow me," and the puppy did, slowly at first, then faster. Up the steps, through the door, into the warm house, into safety. Michael closed the door behind them. The puppy stood in the entryway, looking around with wide eyes. He was filthy, smelled terrible. His ribs showed through matted fur, but his tail wouldn't stop wagging. Kaiser brought over a toy. Dropped it in front of the puppy. An offering. "Welcome to the family." The puppy picked it up gently, then looked at Michael. Those same eyes that had watched through the window for 3 weeks. But now they were inside. Now they were safe. Michael knelt down. "Okay, little man. First we get you to a vet, then a bath, then food. Then we figure out the rest." The puppy dropped the toy and walked straight into Michael's arms, pressed his dirty face against Michael's chest, and for the first time in 3 weeks, Michael felt the small body stop shivering. Kaiser lay down beside them. Both. Content, his mission accomplished, his dad had finally learned the lesson. The door was always meant to be opened. Michael pulled out his phone. Texted Sarah, "I did it." "He's home," Sarah replied immediately. "What took you so long?" Michael looked at the puppy in his arms, at Kaiser watching them with satisfied eyes. "I don't know," he whispered, "but never again." The next morning, Michael carried the puppy into Seattle Pet Emergency Clinic. Kaiser came too, refusing to leave his new friend's side. Dr. Lisa Tran took one look at the puppy, and her expression tightened. "How long was he on the streets?" "At least 3 weeks that I know of. Maybe longer." She examined him carefully. Michael watched her face, trying to read the verdict. After 20 minutes, Dr. Tran looked up. "Okay, the good news. No broken bones, no signs of abuse. He's about 5 months old. Mixed breed, probably some terrier and maybe beagle. And the bad news? Severe malnutrition. Intestinal parasites, ear infection, fleas, mild hypothermia. He's about 6 pounds underweight for his age and size. She paused. Another week out there, and we'd be having a very different conversation. Michael felt his chest tighten. But he'll be okay? With treatment, yes. Deworming medication, antibiotics for the ear infection, nutritional supplements. It'll take time, but he's young, resilient. She smiled. He got lucky. You opened your door just in time. The treatments cost $417. Michael didn't hesitate. While they waited for the medications, Dr. Tran scanned for a microchip. Nothing. No chip, no collar, no one's filed a lost report matching his description, she said. Legally, after reasonable attempts to find an owner, he's yours if you want him. Michael looked at the puppy on the examination table, at Kaiser sitting protectively beside him. Yeah, Michael said. I want him. He needs a name. Michael thought about it. 3 weeks of watching through glass. 3 weeks of patient waiting. Never demanding, just hoping. Scout, he said. His name is Scout. Dr. Tran smiled. Perfect. Okay, Scout. Let's get you healthy. The first bath happened that afternoon at home. Scout was terrified of the water, but Kaiser sat by the tub the entire time, watching, encouraging. When Michael finally lifted Scout out, wrapped in a towel, the transformation was shocking. Under all that dirt and matted fur was a beautiful little dog. Brown and white patches, expressive eyebrows, a tail that curled up when he was happy. You're a handsome guy, Michael said, drying him off. Scout licked his face. That night, Michael set up a dog bed for Scout in the living room. Within an hour, Scout had abandoned it and climbed onto Kaiser's bed. Kaiser didn't mind. He adjusted, making room, and they slept like that. 2 dogs who'd been strangers 4 weeks ago. Now brothers. The first week was hard. Scout flinched at sudden movements, cowered when Michael raised his hand, even just to pet him. The sound of the trash truck sent him hiding under the couch for hours. He's got some trauma, Dr. Tran explained during a follow-up visit. Street life is brutal for puppies. He probably got kicked, chased, maybe attacked by other dogs. It'll take time. But Kaiser was patient. When Scout got scared, Kaiser would lie down next to wherever he was hiding. Not pushing, not forcing, just being there. When Scout refused to eat because the food bowl reminded him of competition and scarcity, Kaiser ate from his own bowl very slowly, showing Scout that here food was safe, abundant. No one would steal it. When Michael tried to teach Scout to walk on a leash and the puppy panicked at the sensation of being restrained, Kaiser demonstrated. Look, the leash is okay. It means adventure, safety, not capture. Slowly, Scout began to change. By day 10, he stopped flinching when Michael reached for him. By day 14, he ate his full meals without looking over his shoulder. By day 20, he played, actually played, grabbed a rope toy and tugged, growling playfully while Kaiser gently tugged back. Michael caught it on video, sent it to Sarah. Look, he's playing. That's what happens when dogs feel safe, she replied. You gave him that. But the breakthrough came on day 23. Michael was working at his desk when Scout walked in. The puppy had been exploring the apartment, growing bolder each day. Scout sat at Michael's feet, looked up, made a small sound. Michael looked down. What's up, buddy? Scout put his paw on Michael's leg. It was such a simple gesture, but it meant everything. It meant, I trust you, I choose you. You're my person now. Michael picked Scout up, set him on his lap. The puppy curled into a ball, sighed deeply, and fell asleep. Kaiser appeared in the doorway. Saw them. His tail wagged slowly. Mission accomplished. That evening, Michael posted the security camera footage from November 18th, the moment he opened the door. Scout's cautious approach, Kaiser's gentle guidance. The puppy finally coming inside. He captioned it, For 3 weeks, this puppy watched my German Shepherd through the window. I made every excuse not to help. Then Kaiser taught me what unconditional love looks like. Meet Scout. He's home now. The video went viral overnight, 5 million views in 24 hours. But for Michael, the numbers didn't matter. What mattered was the puppy sleeping on his lap. Finally warm, finally safe, finally loved. 6 months later, Michael couldn't remember what life was like before Scout. The apartment that had felt too small for 2 dogs now felt exactly right. Scout and Kaiser had their routines, their spots, their understanding. Every morning, Scout woke Michael up at 6:30 a.m. by jumping on the bed and licking his face. Kaiser followed at a more dignified pace, stretching elaborately. They walked together. Scout had graduated from terrified of the leash to pulling enthusiastically toward every interesting smell. Kaiser walked calmly beside him, the patient older brother. At the dog park, Scout's transformation was most visible. The cowering puppy who'd flinched at everything now played fearlessly with other dogs. He had favorite friends. A golden retriever named Sunny, a corgi named Biscuit, that's the window dog, another owner said one day, recognizing Scout from the viral video. "How's he doing?" "Perfect," Michael said, watching Scout wrestle with Sunny. "He's perfect," but it was the quiet moments that meant the most. Scout no longer slept in his own bed. He'd claimed his spot, pressed against Kaiser's back using the big German Shepherd as a pillow. Kaiser had graciously accepted his role as mattress. When Michael worked from home, both dogs lay at his feet. Scout would occasionally look up, just checking that Michael was still there, then settle back down, satisfied the trauma wasn't completely gone. Sudden loud noises still startled Scout. He didn't like strangers approaching too fast. But Kaiser was always there, a calming presence that said, "You're safe." "I've got you." The viral video changed things in unexpected ways. Michael's inbox flooded with messages, thousands of them. People thanking him for opening the door. People sharing their own rescue stories. People asking advice about strays they'd been watching, waiting, making excuses about. One message stood out, from a woman named Patricia in Portland. "I've been watching a stray cat outside my apartment for 2 months. I kept saying I couldn't afford it, didn't have time, all the excuses. Your video made me realize I was just scared. Scared of commitment, scared of failing. But yesterday I opened my door. She walked right in like she'd been waiting for permission. Her name is Luna. Thank you for showing me that love isn't about being ready. It's about being willing." Michael read that message to Sarah over coffee. "You started something," Sarah said, smiling. "People needed permission to care. You gave them that. I didn't do anything special. I just finally did what I should have done 3 weeks earlier. And that's the point. You were honest about your fear and excuses. That made it real. Made it okay to be scared, but do it anyway." Michael looked at Scout and Kaiser, playing tug-of-war in the park. Kaiser's the real hero. He knew what to do from day one. I'm the one who needed 3 weeks to catch up. On the 6-month anniversary of opening the door, Michael organized something special, a Second Chances adoption event at the Seattle Humane Society. He donated $5,000 from the ad revenue from his viral video, volunteered to speak. He stood in front of 50 people, Scout and Kaiser beside him. "6 months ago, I had every excuse," he began. "Too expensive, too busy, too small apartment, too much responsibility. But the truth was, I was scared. Scared of failing, scared of the commitment, scared that I wasn't enough." He looked at Scout, who wagged his tail. "This puppy taught me something. He didn't need me to be perfect. He just needed me to try, to open the door, to make room." Michael paused, his voice thick with emotion. "We all have strays in our lives. Maybe literal dogs or cats we see and make excuses about. Maybe people who need help. Maybe parts of ourselves we've locked outside because we're scared to let them in. Kaiser taught me that love isn't complicated. It's not about being ready or having perfect conditions. It's about seeing someone who needs you and deciding that's enough reason to act." He knelt down, hugged both dogs. Scout was watching through my window for 3 weeks, waiting, hoping, and I was on the other side making excuses. Don't be like I was. Don't wait 3 weeks. Don't wait 3 days. When you see someone who needs you, human or animal, open the door. Make room. Figure out the details later. The crowd applauded. People wiped tears. Afterward, 12 families adopted animals that day. Every single one mentioned Michael's speech. That night, Michael lay in bed with both dogs sprawled around him. Scout had grown. He was 23 pounds now, healthy, confident. His coat shined. His eyes sparkled. But sometimes Michael still saw the shivering puppy under the bush, still heard Kaiser's whining pleas, still remembered the shame of closing the curtains. "I'm sorry it took so long," Michael whispered to Scout. "I'm sorry you had to wait." Scout just licked his hand. No grudge, no resentment, pure forgiveness. That was the thing about dogs. They didn't hold on to past failures. They lived in the moment. And in this moment, Scout was warm, safe, and loved. Michael pulled out his phone, posted a photo of both dogs sleeping, captioned it simply, "6 months ago I opened a door. Best decision I ever made," the comments poured in. Hundreds of photos of adopted animals, stories of open doors, changed lives. Second chances given and received. Sarah was right. He'd started something, but more importantly, he'd learned something. Love isn't about being ready. It's about being willing. Perfection isn't the goal. Compassion is, and sometimes the best thing you can do is simply open the door, make room, and let someone in who's been waiting in the cold. Michael fell asleep that night with Scout pressed against one side and Kaiser against the other. His small apartment that had been too small for 2 dogs felt exactly the right size because he'd made room. And room, it turned out, was infinite when you measured it with love. Was this story touching? Did it remind you that the hardest part of helping is often just deciding to start? That animals teach us lessons about unconditional love we desperately need? Share Scout's story. And remember, there might be someone, human or animal, watching through your window right now, waiting for you to open the door. Don't make them wait. Subscribe for more true stories that prove compassion changes everything.